What happens when parents love their children deeply, but their actions wound them silently? When a harsh word spoken in frustration becomes a scar a child carries for years, and when "I'm sorry," the simplest phrase, becomes the hardest thing for a parent to say. Before we dive deep into these untold facts, welcome to Responsible Parenting TVC, responsible parenting tips for caring kids. Here, we share raw, uncensored, and deeply relatable parenting stories, practical tips, proven strategies, and inspiring lessons to help you raise responsible, confident, and caring children in today's world. Disclaimer: this is an educational content for knowledge and awareness only. Again, I ask you, what happens when parents love their children deeply, but their actions wound them silently? When a harsh word spoken in frustration becomes a scar a child carries for years. And when "I'm sorry," the simplest phrase, becomes the hardest thing for a parent to say? In this episode of Responsible Parenting TVC, we explore apologies your children deserve. Because sometimes the most powerful act of parenting is humility. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe now. If you're on Facebook, follow our page, like, comment, and share this video with others who need to hear this truth. And don't forget to turn on your notification bell, because every episode here could save a home, a heart, or a family. In 2016, somewhere in Ibadan, Nigeria, Chioma believed she was doing everything right as a mother. She worked tirelessly, made sure her children had everything she never had, and ran her home with order and discipline. But in the eyes of her 14-year-old daughter, Kamsi, Chioma was perfect until she wasn't. It started small: a slap during an argument about homework, a public scolding in front of neighbors, a comment that compared her to her more brilliant cousin. Chioma never meant harm. She was just training her child the way her parents trained her. But what she didn't know was that every harsh correction came with a hidden wound, the kind that festers in silence. At school, Kamsi became withdrawn. Her laughter disappeared. Her confidence crumbled. She still loved her mother deeply, but she began to fear her too. And when she made a mistake, she didn't cry. She just went quiet because she knew what was coming. One day, Chioma overheard Kamsi whisper to her younger brother, "I wish mommy would say sorry, just once." That sentence broke her. It was like a mirror held up to her soul. For years, Chioma had thought that saying sorry to a child was weakness, that it would make her lose authority. But in that moment, she realized the truth. It wasn't authority she was losing. It was connection. Because children don't need perfect parents, they need present ones, and parents humble enough to admit when they're wrong. That night, Chioma walked into her daughter's room. Kamsi was pretending to sleep. Chioma knelt beside her bed and whispered, "I'm sorry, my child. I was wrong." No one told her how powerful those words could be. Kamsi turned, eyes wide, tears filling them. For the first time, she felt seen. That night didn't just heal a wound, it rebuilt a bridge. But what happens when parents never apologize? When pride replaces empathy? If you're touched by this story, comment "Marriage with Wisdom," share it with loved ones, and subscribe for more real-life stories that heal hearts on Responsible Parenting TVC. And don't forget to turn on your notification bell. The next part might just change how you see love forever. Chioma's story opened a wound she didn't know she carried, the unhealed pain from her own childhood. As she knelt beside Kamsi that night, apologizing through tears, memories began to surface. Her mother's voice, cold and sharp, echoing through her mind. Stop crying before I give you a reason to cry. You're too stubborn. You'll understand when you have your own children. It hit her. She had become the very voice that once silenced her. The patterns she thought were discipline were actually echoes of the same emotional neglect she suffered as a child. For weeks after that night, Chioma began to see her home differently. She noticed how her son, Chijioke, tensed every time she raised her tone. She realized her children obeyed, not because they respected her, but because they feared her, and it broke her heart. So she made a decision, a painful but powerful one, to unlearn, to start over, to become the parent her children didn't have to heal from. At first, it wasn't easy. There were days she would lose her temper, then catch herself mid-yell, breathing heavily, fighting the urge to explode. Sometimes she'd walk away, tears of frustration in her eyes. But each time she returned, she began to do something she never did before, she explained. She started saying things like, Kamsi, Mommy is upset because I love you, and I'm afraid you'll hurt yourself. Or, I shouldn't have shouted earlier. I was wrong. Can we talk about how we can fix it together? Those small moments became sacred. Each apology was a brick in the wall of rebuilding trust. Because in parenting, just like in marriage, communication heals more than correction ever will. One evening, Chioma attended a responsible parenting seminar at her church in Lagos. The facilitator, a child psychologist named Dr. Bamadele, said something that stayed with her forever. Children remember your tone longer than your teaching. You can love them deeply, but if your voice wounds them, love becomes fear. That truth pierced through her heart because she realized parenting isn't about controlling behavior, it's about connecting hearts. When she got home, she sat her children down and told them, I wasn't raised to say sorry, but I want to raise you differently because love without humility breaks the very souls we're trying to build. Her children looked at her in disbelief. Then Kamsi smiled, a real smile, and said, Mommy, I forgive you. That simple sentence was more healing than any sermon, any lecture, or any parental advice book. Forgiveness became their family's new language. But healing journeys are rarely smooth. Just when things began to feel whole again, Chioma discovered something that shattered her heart, something her daughter had been hiding all along. What happens when a parent's apology comes too late, when a child's pain has already taken root too deep? If you're touched by this story, comment Marriage with Wisdom, share it with loved ones, and subscribe for more real-life stories that heal hearts on Responsible Parenting TVC. And don't forget to turn on your notification bell. The next part might just change how you see love forever. 2 weeks later, Chioma's heart sank when she found a note under her daughter's pillow, written in small, shaky handwriting. It read, Sometimes I feel like I'm never enough. I try to make you proud, but I always get it wrong. I love you, Mommy, but I'm scared of you. The words felt like a dagger to her chest. Chioma sat on the edge of Kamsi's bed, clutching the paper, trembling. This was not just about one mistake. It was years of unspoken pain echoing through ink and tears. When Kamsi returned from school, Chioma couldn't hold it in. She knelt again, this time sobbing openly. Kamsi, I found your letter, and I want you to know something. You are enough. You've always been enough. I'm the one who didn't know how to show it. Her daughter froze, uncertain, eyes glistening. Then slowly she dropped her backpack and ran into her mother's arms. For the first time in years, there were no walls, no fear, just warmth. And that moment became the turning point for their family. Chioma began therapy, not because she was weak, but because she finally understood that parenting requires healing, not perfection. she learned that behind every impatient parent is an unhealed child, that "I'm sorry" is not a loss of authority, but a sign of emotional maturity. Through the session, she revisited her childhood, the nights she cried alone, the times her mother's anger silenced her voice, and with every memory faced, she forgave. Forgave her mother, forgave herself, forgave the cycle that had passed down like a shadow through generations. Months later, something beautiful happened. One Sunday morning, Chioma visited her elderly mother in Enugu. As they sat on the old veranda, her mother, frail and quiet, whispered, "I wasn't always right, Chioma. I didn't know better then." Chioma smiled through tears and held her mother's hand. "I know, Mama, you did your best, and now I'm learning to do mine differently." It was redemption, not the loud kind that comes with applause, but the gentle kind that comes with peace. From that day, Chioma began teaching her children a new kind of apology, not the one that fixes blame, but the one that rebuilds trust. She told them, "When I hurt you, I'll say sorry. When you hurt me, I'll still listen." Because love is not about who's right, it's about who's willing to heal. And for the first time, their home began to feel lighter. Laughter returned, conversations deepened, the walls of fear crumbled into bridges of empathy. Reflection. Parenting is not about perfection, it's about presence. Our children don't need flawless parents. They need honest ones. They need to see us own our mistakes, regulate our emotions, and love them even when we fall short. The apologies our children deserve are not just words. They are actions, consistency, and humility wrapped in love. Because when a parent heals, a generation breathes easier. A short prayer. May every parent watching this find the courage to say, "I'm sorry." May healing begin in our homes through empathy, forgiveness, and love that listens before it lectures. And may our children grow, not fearing our voices, but finding safety in them. This is Responsible Parenting TVC, responsible parenting tips for caring kids. Stay with us for more inspiring parenting lessons, powerful real-life stories, and daily guidance to help you raise children who are caring, responsible, and ready to thrive.